Hey everyone, this is Kenny Coins with Marathon Money. I appreciate you guys tuning in, for the guys listening and for the people that are viewing the show on YouTube and on the website. I'm here with Sky Quarry, Marcus, who is the founder and vice president. Am I
Correct.
correct?
Co-founder. Yep.
And co-founder, and oh no, co-founder, correct. And he chose to give me a chance and sit down with me, and we get to talk about the company, and he gets to tell us more how the inner workings and what the future looks like for 2025, and what the future looks like from 2 years from now as well. So Marcus, you want to introduce yourself before I go any further?
Sure. We started the company about 5 years ago, targeting the opportunity that is created by this waste stream of asphalt roofing shingles, and we're really excited about diverting that waste stream from landfills, as well as extracting all the valuable resources that are in those shingles.
Okay, that's amazing. So what do you guys are doing with those? I see that I read and I see that you guys are servicing about 6 million homes. Is that correct?
Now, 6 million homes replace their roofing material every year. So that's where that number comes from.
Oh, okay.
There's yeah, the thing about the asphalt shingles is they're extremely heavy and resource intensive. The shingle roofing companies are using about 20 million barrels of oil a year to make those shingles. So it's very resource intensive. So
Oh, oh
they only
wow.
last they only last about 15 to 20 years, and then they need to be replaced. And so we want to take that waste stream and as much as possible reuse all those resources, and those materials can be repurposed into new shingles, so you can get a partially recycled shingle. And then there's a lot of other places that material can go. We can extract the oil out of those shingles, and then refine that oil and make a sustainable diesel out of it. And then, when you break apart a shingle, you actually get limestone powder, sand granules, which are sitting on top of the shingle, and fiberglass. And you can actually separate all those materials and reuse them. So it's 100% recyclable. There's no waste after the recycling process, and we're targeting getting those resources back into valuable use, so that we don't have to drill for 20 million barrels every year for the shingle industry. We can actually make oil that can get put back into shingles, and we have working relationships with some of the big shingle manufacturers as far as exploring that opportunity.
How did you, as a founder, how did you identify this opportunity?
Uh, I Yeah, my background is investment banking, so I've always looked at a lot of deals and a lot of business opportunities. I studied entrepreneurship. I raised a lot of money for companies, both in the oil and gas industry and in the clean tech space. And once we started looking at the problem of shingle waste, shingles are very similar to oil sands. So oil sands is a major hydrocarbon resource, mostly extracted in Canada. And if you apply the technology that you use to extract oil from oil sand to a waste shingle, it's very comparable as far as what the process would be. So we really started chasing it and found that the techniques that are widely used in Canada to make oil can be used on shingles for great success. And so we've targeted that niche. And in my background, my history, I've looked at a lot of clean tech companies, and the problem you run into with a clean tech company or a new technology is the cost to actually put it to work in the market. And what attracted me about Sky Quarry was the amount of capex required to generate an annuity of revenue is very low. So we're targeting building a network of shingle extraction facilities across the country. Each facility would cost about 12 million bucks, but once you get it up and running, it pays for itself in 2 years. And so that's really attractive from a business standpoint.
So, from your opinion, just to get more on the retail investor mind, when do you guys think you guys will be able to start turning a profit?
You know, our attorneys would kind of prevent me from talking about when we're going to be
That's
profitable.
okay.
But
I completely understand.
the company models profitability, very quickly. It's not a 20 to to basically get it into production, and our cash flow generation rises significantly once we get that second facility running.
And then, do you have a timeline when you guys are gonna get that second facility up and running?
We're targeting by the end of the second quarter.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
The facility is built. We're just finishing a retrofitting on it. So, it's really just some minor construction details that we need to finish. It's not a major construction. The facility's been built and permitted, for years, and to make it handle both shingles and oil sand resource, we had to do a retrofitting. We had to tweak some of the technology, but it's basically ready to go from my perspective.
Oh wow! So when you get that second facility up and running, you can start turning a profit fairly quickly, or it's still going to take like another year?
No, it'll again. I need to be careful about what I say because I don't want
Yeah,
to trip
completely
into
understand.
material
Yeah, that,
non-public information. But
yeah,
as I said, our business model, shows a lot of cash flow, post that machine going into production. Uh,
that's
you know,
that's
we
that's pretty
so
amazing.
we can't talk specifically about dates and when that cash flow comes, but that's what the whole model is built around. If you think about it, our business model, and that's one of the things that got me excited about Sky Quarry. Our business model is very profitable. The the opportunity to get paid to take the shingles, which is how we're building the business. We want to get paid to take the waste, and then you can sell all the products that come out of that waste stream. So you're making money on both sides. We're not paying to take the waste; we're getting paid to take the waste, and we project that we'll get about $50 a ton in revenue for each ton of material that we take in. Here in California, where I live, the if you want to dump a ton of shingles at Waste Management, they'll charge you $250 a ton to take it off your hands because they're going to have to load it up somewhere and take it to a landfill. There's 15 million tons of this stuff going into landfills every year. So our business model is driven off of that initial getting paid to take the waste, and our processing expenses around turning that barrel or that ton of waste into valuable products is about $30 a ton in production fees, and then probably $20 to $30 a ton in transportation. And so once we get that material separated and we get it up to our extraction facility, our production cost for a barrel of oil is going to be around $30. And so, with $70 oil, and on top of having that extraction facility, we also own a refinery. So once we make the oil,
I was just about to ask that. Do you guys own a refinery? Because then
yeah,
that would make it even more
yeah, we actually own the only refinery in Nevada, which is it's a small
when it
refinery, but it's
puts
still
you
the
in a
only one.
good position.
Well, the beauty of owning a refinery is it gives us a bigger toolkit with which to attack this waste shingle oil. So not only can we turn it into crude, we can then turn it into final product that can be sold as sustainable. And so we can make diesel, we can make the precursor to gasoline, we can make sustainable asphalt oil or sustainable like solid asphalt that would be used either in the paving industry or in the roofing industry. So we can tag a product as sustainable all the way through the value chain, and as pressure increases to drive sustainability and to claim sustainability and to get credits for being sustainable, we're well positioned because we can stand there and make a market ready product and prove that it's sustainable because we can show where it came from. I lost you there. I can't hear you.
Is there any like government incentive, like taxes, government grants?
Yeah, we're working through that. There are loans, there are loan guarantees, there are obviously tax credits in California. There are low carbon fuel credits. So as we get into production on the shingles, we're gonna start to be able to take advantage of that stuff. And we've made applications for grants, we've made applications for loans. All those things take time, but we're well positioned. The beauty is our business model is attractive enough that we actually don't depend on government handouts to be successful. It'll really just increase our margins.
So with that being said, so what do you what what's your vision for
Ah,
this year?
well, for
What's
this year, I think our major milestone is going to be getting that facility up and running, and it's really going to be a showcase for us to demonstrate to the industry, what we're capable of. The 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 municipalities across the United States are to some extent leaning into uh, trying to divert waste from landfills. So everybody, kind of sees that the landfills are filling up with garbage, and if you look at New York, any of the major metropolitan areas, they're not renewing landfill permits near major cities. So the garbage that we create has to travel further and further to to find a home, and so even once you've thrown something away, it now continues to have a carbon footprint because you now have to move it hundreds of miles to wherever you're going to dump it. And so municipalities to mitigate that problem are forcing contractors and builders to prove that they're diverting some of their construction demolition waste from landfills, and shingle waste is probably the most valuable construction demolition waste that isn't currently being recycled. And copper wire and all those steel and all that is already being recycled, but there's a lot of stuff that they aren't going to recycle, which is like sheetrock and things like that. So for example, in Santa Monica, California, builders have to prove that they're recycling part of their construction demolition waste to pull building permits, and so there's going to be more and more government pressure to divert this waste from landfills. People don't realize that construction demolition waste is double what household waste is, and across the country. So you're looking at hundreds of millions of tons of waste every year, and so there's a big opportunity in reducing our dependence on landfills and recycling this material. And as we demonstrate that we can recycle this material, more and more municipalities will join in efforts to divert this waste from landfills, and that's going to play to our hand. We want to build a national network of shingle recycling capacity, and our design, for regional facilities to handle complete extraction without any real transportation needs. So you can build a facility outside of Houston or outside of Dallas or Atlanta or Orlando that just handles that city on its own, and then you don't have to deal with the logistics around our current facilities in Utah and Nevada.
So, question that comes to mind: how easy it is to replicate your business model or the industry you're in for competitors' sake?
So we think we have a uh, pretty decent lead in the business, and just in that our facility in Utah, if we just ran shingles through it, would have a capacity of about 10% of the waste stream as it is today, and that works out to about 1 million tons of shingles. The waste stream today is about 15 million tons a year. So just to think about how big 15 million tons is, it's about 150 city blocks in volume of building 6 stories high. So it's 6 stories high of waste, 150 city blocks, and that's how much we're throwing into landfills every year.
Oh
It's
wow.
pretty
And
amazing.
how big is
So
that market for you?
it's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity just because there's so many revenue streams associated with the shingle waste. So just the tipping fees would be hundreds of millions, if not a billion, on its own if you actually captured 100% of that market. Yeah, our idea isn't necessarily to get to that level. We're targeting getting to about 25%. So we want to get to the low hanging fruit and get to the attractive markets where the tipping fees, which is what you get paid to take the waste, is high enough, and you have residents and municipal governance that's really forcing the diversion issue and saying we want to recycle, we don't want to throw this waste away, because to throw away 20 million barrels of oil a year is kind of silly.
Oh, 100% silly. 100%. So I'm gonna come at it a little different. I know very little bit about waste. I know quite a bit about oil, but I know very little bit about waste. I know waste is a big problem in the US.
Yep.
Landfills are a humongous problem in the US. They're probably a problem all over the world. Some other countries have better handle on it than others, but I know in America it's a problem.
Because we create more of it than anybody.
We create more of it than anybody, 100%.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking about it, I never thought about it in the way your company's thinking about it. And the opportunity to make money and the opportunity to clean up the environment is kind of where the world is pushing. Now, you just told me you kind of have a lead on it from your competitors. Like, how big of a lead do you have?
Well, I think we have patent protection, and we have obviously a facility built, and regardless of how much interest there is in what you're trying to do, to build a facility of this kind is not easy in the regulatory environment, and the it's a very long lead process to actually build this kind of facility, unless you're building it at a small scale and buying off the shelf components. So we think our lead is truly driven off the fact that we actually have a facility that's permitted and ready to operate, barring our the rest of our retrofitting that's in process. But that kind of puts us out there as the champion. We have 4 patents that we own that came with the facility when we bought it, and we have a lot of intellectual property around what we're doing with the shingles, and you know like I always say, your barriers to entry should really be driven by your speed to market and the fact that you're nimble, as opposed to thinking that you're doing something that somebody else can't. We do have patent protection, we do have our own designs, we do have intellectual property, we do have trade secrets, and we intend to defend them as needed. But I think our lead should be driven off of the fact that we're here and we're ready to start operating, and once we start rolling out other facilities and building a national network, the then obviously, if a municipality decides that they want to have a shingle recycling platform, we would stand ready to joint venture with somebody that would want just a cookie cutter approach that is going to be a lot easier to raise capital for than a brand new project, because raising the kind of money that it's going to need to start these kinds of projects, you're going to go with a proven player, and so there aren't a lot of companies that have the capabilities and the technology that we do.
Okay. And I kind of understand it now. I'm kind of getting a full grasp, which brings up one of the questions that kind of popped up into my mind. Like, what percentage of revenue expected to come from like oil recovery versus like construction materials?
The oil recovery ends up being, I would say, 30 to 40% of the revenue. Um, so we like, obviously, high priced oil is a benefit for us as opposed to a liability, but we're not, we shouldn't necessarily have to uh, our stocks shouldn't have to go up and down based on the price of oil, because we insulate ourselves from the volatility of oil pricing just by the fact that we're getting paid to take our cost of goods, right? So we run a refinery today and we have to pay for our oil, so our profitability is driven off the crack spread between what we buy oil for and what we can sell the finished products for. But once we don't have to pay $70 or $60 for a barrel of oil, and we're making it for 30. The volatility of our profitability goes down relative to the price of oil, right? So even when oil goes down significantly, we're still generating profits, and when oil goes up significantly, we make more profit. So, and then
No,
when we also have other revenue streams, the volatility of your earnings goes down even further. So our profitability and will only be, we'll have a small correlation to the price of oil, as opposed to a big volatility around the price of oil.
no, I actually understand that, and that makes me like really like what I'm hearing, because you guys are kind of making one stream of income, and there's kind of very few weaknesses in it. Definitely when it comes to the oil, you guys separated yourself, but when you guys do sell, you guys, if oil prices are up, you guys make a good profit margin. Even if it's low, you guys are still good. Are you guys exploring like partnerships and collaborations? Is it
Yeah.
possibly?
Well, we have one collaboration with Atlas Shingles, which is, I think, about the fourth largest. Can you hold on? Somebody just walked in the house. Can
It's all right. It's all right.
we pause for a sec? Yeah, hold on. In Los Angeles, and there's actually a fire in the Pacific Palisades, and they're evacuating
Oh
certain
wow.
neighborhoods.
Oh wow. Well, man, we'll make this a little bit quicker, but man, honestly, like I didn't know much, but like what I've learned and what I've read myself, it seems like you guys are in a really unique space. Like it, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems untapped, and you guys are kind of in that space by yourself a little bit. Because I don't really know if you guys have strong competitors out there that is, would you say, rivals to
No,
you, or?
there's a company up in Canada that's trying to do the same, that's doing the same thing in Canada. So, we're not in competitive markets. They're focusing on Canada, and we obviously have a big opportunity in the States. So I wouldn't see us as competition.
I didn't really see, because this is kind of the first time I'm hearing it, and I guarantee it's gonna be a first time a lot of people's hearing about this.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
we've actually been very lucky. We raised our initial capital through crowdfundings, and we have 10,000 investors that we've raised through crowdfunding, and we raised $30 million that way.
Man, that's amazing. Amazing. Because the way you explained it to me made me really understand it. So I'm pretty sure you probably explained it kind of the same way, or at the time put something together to make it where it's more palatable for everybody to understand.
Yeah.
And I do get it. Waste is a big problem, and then you guys are able to refine it to oil.
Yep.
You know what I
No,
mean? And
it's a there's a ton, there's a ton of opportunities around it as well. There's you know one of the byproducts of recycling a shingle is you end up with a limestone powder, and you can actually use limestone powder to sequester carbon. So not only can you create a whole bunch of materials that are that you can reuse again, but to actually pull carbon out of the atmosphere could be part of our business in the future.
I was gonna ask you if you guys can use that for other revenue source, and you answered that question. And
Microsoft, I think, just spent $100 million on prototype facility for this, because they're trying to offset the carbon that their data centers create, and so there's a lot of opportunities. And as I said, we're in partnership with Atlas, and we actually have other discussions that are non-public and under NDA. But the the real kind of inflection point for us is going to be getting the Utah facility up and running, because everybody's going to want to see that the proof is in the pudding. We're doing it at scale. They can see the final products, and just for we've
That's
We've
going to be
met.
this year. You guys are hoping
Yeah,
to have that completed.
yeah.
Man, I definitely be looking out for that.
We met with Union Pacific, and they've basically told their shareholders that they want to be running their locomotives on 30% sustainable fuel by 2030 or 2033. I can't remember which it is. And you know, Union Pacific is seen as a green company because transporting cargo with rail is more environmentally favorable than trucks, but they still use more diesel than any other entity in the United States except for the U.S. Navy, and they're basically neck and neck with the Navy. So they're looking for sustainable diesel, and I'm pretty confident that to use a waste material as your feedstock for making sustainable diesel ensures that you're going to have the lowest cost diesel that's sustainable, available in the market. So, we're pretty excited about, that opportunity to really make a low cost sustainable fuel for industries that actually can't do it. Like you're not going to be able to replace Union Pacific's fleet, with electric locomotives anytime soon, and they're not going to electrify the rail networks of the United States. And same with the airline industry. They're struggling to find cost effective ways to get sustainable jet fuel. But the asphalt oil, once blended with traditional oil, can be refined into sustainable jet fuel.
Well, that's amazing. That'll change that whole airline industry. You know what I mean?
Well, it wouldn't change the industry, but it'll prevent them from having to charge a huge amount of money for sustainable jet fuel. The price for sustainable jet fuel today is about 300% of regular jet fuel. So
That's the reason why I think it will change the industry.
yeah,
So,
people don't like the idea of paying another 30% for their flight. Yeah.
and it will definitely well, if the airlines decide to cut us a break in after they make that change, but it will change it for them
Yeah.
significantly. That when a big change like that happen, it does breed other opportunities,
Yeah.
different way of looking at things. When you remove a massive burden like jet fuel and make it green, it does open other opportunities for you to do other things.
Yeah.
Money's left over, better service, whatever the case may be. Better technology, longer lasting airplanes than before. Because obviously oil does cause damage. Like the jet fuel they probably use now does cause damage. So obviously something greener probably be great for the environment and probably great for the plane as well.
Yeah.
So Marcus, I really appreciate you coming on, man, taking the time. I'm definitely gonna hope we can catch up on this like
Absolutely. Stay in
later in
touch.
the year when you got your facility up, things are going well. I hope like I'm hoping that I get to see it. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
That'd be awesome to see. But it's nice to know you guys are doing something that is pretty unique out there. You know, what I mean, you kind of rarely hear that when it comes to companies. We're kind of in a day and age where like a lot of people kind of do something the same, but it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
I think your company is going to be successful in the near future.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Take care.